plugins, plugins. You go to plugins.bukkit.org, and depending on what type of server you're going to run, those are the types of plugins you're going to install. So if it's a minigame server, you're going to look for some sort of survival games plugin. Yeah, there's a ton of plugins for everything. One of the most basic plugins that almost every server uses is Essentials. Make sure you get the right one, because a lot of people try to copy it. Oh man, where is it? Next page? Oh, yep, there it is, next page. Alright, Essential Steam, MD5, and 10 more. Wow. So, to install the plugin, you go to the download page, and on the right over here, you'll see a download button. Click that, and it'll take you to a second page, and you'll just click download again on the right. There we go. And most of the time it's a jar file, but I think with Essentials it's a zip file. So it should download. Yep. There we go. So, I'm going to open this with WinRAR or something like that. 7-zip, anything of that sort. Where is it? There we go. Open with WinRAR. And here you go. These are all the Essentials plugins. This is the only Essentials plugin that's, Essentials. But we're going to go into our plugins folder, take these, and put them right in here. Now, Essentials anti-build, I would just recommend deleting because it's kind of pointless, because there's so many better world protecting plugins like WorldGuard. We'll get into that. So, when you install a new plugin, always make sure you save before a reload, and I'm not opt. Okay. Opping a player gives them basically all permissions, except permissions that are specifically blocked or that aren't allowed in the plugin with op override. So you're going to save all, and then reload. This will reload your server. Not sure why it's taking so long. And you always have to reload when you're installing a new plugin. It generates the plugin folders and files and everything. So it's starting the reload now. There we go. Alright, it's done. So you can see the Essentials folder is here. Configuration, everything is in there. For YML files, I would recommend using Notepad++. You can get this anywhere. Basically, just go search it up on Google. Find a free download. So, open up the config, and here we go. This is where you can edit everything in your plugin. So, nickname prefix, I prefer not to have one. Maximum nickname length, I just set it at 20 because people like to mess with colors and stuff. Change display name, leave that true. You guys edit this however you want. I'm just putting my personal preferences. Teleport cooldown, say 5. Delay 4. Make sure you read through all this and know what it does. So let's get out of here. Yes. And one thing I was going to tell you, you don't have to do a full reload to reload a plugin. You just find that plugin's command, and for this one it's Essentials, or S space, anything really, it reloads the plugin. So, now, wait, I don't know, baby. Now it doesn't have a squiggly in front of it because it is disabled in the configuration. So nick off, that'll get rid of your nickname. Ops colors are by default red, but you can change that as well. Let me test this. Yeah, these are all the color codes, in case anybody's wondering. Purple, gold, gray, dark gray, blue, black, green, aqua, red, purple, yellow, white. Alright, so you're going to put an and sign, and then whatever one of those after it. O is italics, M, I believe, is a strike through. N is underline, and L is bold. You can combine these in any way you want, so let's say, hi there, that is this, oh, this color, this effect, and this effect. You can combine them whichever way you want. Make sure the color always comes first before the effect, if you have any effect. So, let's move on. The reason I was telling you that is because in the configuration you can change the op name color. So B is sort of an aqua color. Save that. And then essentials reload. And now my name, oh, it rolled back a little bit off. Now my name is like a bluish aqua type color. It's pretty cool. Most people prefer to leave it as that dark red. I do as well. So yeah, close out of there. Why does it keep bringing my nickname back? Alright, so moving on. Another plugin that you will most likely want to get is Permissions X or Group Manager. I myself prefer Permissions X. There's nothing wrong with Group Manager. Group Manager was actually developed by the people who made Essentials, so it's a good plugin. It works just as well as Permissions X. There's no pros or cons or anything, but the setup and the configuration is just a little bit different. So Permissions X, and I'm actually going to show how to do permissions in the next episode, but this is just one of the permissions plugins that I prefer. The official permissions plugin is Permissions Bukkit, so you can use that as well. Modify World, Chat Manager, not with Permissions X anymore. Most plugins, when you download them, it's a jar file, like Permissions X, so you'll have to click Keep and then move it into the plugins folder. It won't be a zip file. The only reason Essentials was a zip file is because it's a really big plugin and there's a lot of stuff. A lot of plugins mixed in there. So we're just going to rename that because I've downloaded it 4 times apparently. Save. Set time to day. And reload to install Permissions X and the Permissions X folder. You can see it right there. And you'll have permissions.yml and config.yml in here. You can also open up with Notepad++, and I'll show you guys how to do that in the next episode. I feel like I'm missing something. Alright, you can list your plugins by doing /pl or /plugins. My server's really laggy right now because my internet's crappy and it's running on 1 gigabyte of RAM. So plugins do the same thing. If a plugin is disabled, it will show up in this color right here rather than this color. So it'll say like Permissions X, Essentials Chat, like that, if Essentials is disabled. So a good way to fix this, do not delete your configuration file, but you can delete the jar, reload, reinstall the jar, and then reload again. Same thing goes when you're uninstalling plugins. You'll have to reload. Some plugins require a full server restart. Like we saw, you do save all and then stop to stop the server, and then run it again. Yeah, that's pretty much it on plugins. So I'm going to go get a decent list of plugins installed, and I'll show you how they all work together. Alright, you can see here I've gotten a few plugins installed. Announcer, Clean Room Generator, Combat Log, Core Protect, and Modify World, the 5 that I added. World Edit and World Guard are also 2 that you might want to look into. They're really powerful, really useful plugins. So first we're going to talk about the Announcer plugin. Everything is different for each plugin. This specific plugin, the configuration, you go in here and it's this easy. You just have a prefix. You can leave this blank, but if you do decide to change it, I'd recommend making it like the name of your server or announcer or something. Leave a space after it so that it doesn't hook onto these messages, or put a space in between each one of these, or in front of, I mean. Just kind of a hassle, so I recommend not doing that. You can make it say whatever you want. Save this, and for this specific plugin, it's ACC reload. And like I said, that reloads just this plugin, so you don't have to take the time to reload all of them. I did set the interval to 80, which is in seconds. You can set that to whatever you want, like, say, 10, just to show that it works. Save, and reload the plugin. Alright, so another plugin that you might want to look into is Combat Log for PvP servers. This just stops people from logging out in combat. You can edit everything, so update check, MOTD enabled. I usually leave that false. That's just what it shows when players log on, like right here. That just disables that. So I leave that false. Broadcast. I also leave that false. It just tells when someone combat logs. So tag duration. That's how many seconds a player is going to be tagged before they can log out. PvP, this is player versus player. PvE is like mobs and fall damage and stuff like that. Remove modes, you can remove creative, fly, and disguise. Remove tag on kick, I use that true. Lag out, false. This just means like whenever you kick someone, they don't get their combat tag gets removed, so they can't like die if they're in PvP and they get kicked. Potions, invisibility, I also like to remove strength. It's a little overpowered. You can block commands in PvP. Commands, I don't think you should block these because like they're useful for like teleporting people in or teleporting away if you don't have to wait 15 seconds. So commands to block are in your chest, stuff like that, so people can't just like put all their stuff away. Block teleportation. This is all up to you. I'm just gonna stop because I'm getting way too into this plugin. So combat log reload, and it reloads the plugin. And that's pretty much it on plugins. All the configuration is different for each plugin. Core Protect is sort of a rollback type plugin. So let's say I do this. Someone destroys all your stuff, everything, and you could just do this. Roll back, user, their name, time. Go anywhere from 1 minute to 16 million years. So yeah, you can also do CO restore, which redoes what they did. So say you have a castle, you give someone staff, and they destroy it. You can roll back what they did after banning them. Make sure you do have this plugin installed before the grief occurs, though. It won't help if you install it after, because it can't get all the block data when it wasn't here. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have on plugins today. So, maybe more in a future episode. Episode 3, we will be learning about permissions, and, oh, I forgot to talk about the MOTD. Episode 3, we'll be learning about permissions. Real quick, I want to show you the MOTD. This is in server, and server properties. MOTD, right here. You use the same thing as the colors right here. The same color codes, but you use this symbol right here. That is Alt 21 to get this symbol. 21 on the keypad on the right. So let's say we want our MOTD to be hello. What color? Sort of yellow. This is Alt 21 pHysteria's server. So we're going to save that. And you do have to reload for this, so save all and reload. Sometimes plugins will say that, like reloading this plugin. Combat log, disguise craft not found, factions not found, vault not found. Vault is also a very useful plugin. It's a dependency plugin for economies. Okay, so you can see right there, it changed the MOTD. Another plugin you can use for this is MOTD Manager, and it will automatically change your MOTD, like like I have here on one of my servers. Like it says wrong team, I like your new belt, just random stuff. You can make it do whatever you want, and it also allows you to change the max player count over here. So instead of putting 20, you can change it to like 5 million. On a server on your computer, you can do that anyway, but from a host, you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to change it in here, so that's a good plugin to have if you want to give your server a more professional look. Sorry about that. Not been feeling great. So we're going to reload again and look at player count. Oh, wait. Did it not work? Okay, some things like this you have to stop your server and restart it. So we're just going to do that real quick. Go to the server and run it again. Sometimes you'll have to do this because the server doesn't work like that. Because the MOTD hates you. Whitelisting is one other thing I want to talk about. Whitelisting, you can just put people's names in, and these are the people that are allowed on your server when it is whitelisted. You don't have to edit that anytime, but you go on your server, and permission level, you might need to make that 5. No, 4. Whitelist, there we go. You need to make that true if you want your server to be whitelisted. So, we're going to restart. Now you can see it says 540, and now only those 3 people can connect if you reload your server. So yeah, I'm going to cut it right there, and oh, creeper. And in the next episode, we're going to be learning about permissions, and maybe a little more on plugins.